In next year's election, Republican candidates will need huge amounts of cash to compete with President Obama, who himself could become the nation's first $1 billion candidate. Talk about stimulus. For more, we're joined this morning by Jason Rowe, managing partner of Revolvis. Jason has more than 20 years experience on campaigns and public policy at the federal, state, and local levels. In 2008, Jason was an advisor to Governor Mitt Romney's presidential campaign. Jason, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
It's become very expensive to run for president. I mean,
yes,
$1 billion. Are real competitors going to have to come up with matching funds?
Well, I think, given what the political environment is and what a strong campaigner the president is, I think we're going to have to be competitive. I don't know that we're going to be in a position to raise $1 billion, but we're going to have to come darn near close to it.
We just saw our Lizzie O'Leary going through the numbers of what these guys raised last year. I mean, you talked about Mitt Romney raising $10 million. You say it's a good start, but it seems to pale in comparison to even to the $100 million they'll need for the early primaries.
Well, I mean, you've got the early primaries, and you've got, overall a very slow start to this Republican nominating process. And I think that's actually having a little bit of a chilling effect on the donor community. You still have probably a pretty fluid field, and I think you could see a couple more people jump into the race. So a lot of the donors are probably going to sit on their wallets until they know who the field is and who looks like the best candidate to face the president next year.
Has this become somewhat of a billionaire's game? We're looking at Mitt Romney here, obviously made a lot of money with Bain Capital. John Huntsman has a lot of family money himself. Do you need to come into this with loads of cash already?
It depends. I mean, I think there's three things that are important for a presidential candidate, and that's money, message, and organization. And, if you don't have the money, sometimes you can compensate with message and organization. But if you have the money, you can buy the other two things. And I think, Mitt Romney starts out in a strong position because he's been through it before. He's got a national organization. He knows the process. And he's going to have a big jump with the fundraising with that $10 million start last week. If you look at the other candidates in the field, Governor Pawlenty, who I think most people think is maybe the main competitor to Governor Romney, has pretty modest fundraising so far. Governor Huntsman, who is a billionaire, has indicated he doesn't intend to spend the money. But my guess is if he gets into this and is very competitive, that he'll reach into his checkbook if he needs to. And that's something that, would be an ace in the hole for him to be competitive over the short haul and the long haul.
What about some of the outside, some of the more conservative candidates? I mean, Newt Gingrich has abilities in fundraising as he shifts sort of further to the right here. Michelle Bachmann has raised some money as well. What do you think about the outsiders here?
For them, a lot of it's going to have to be what the message is and if it excites people to their candidacy. Speaker Gingrich, having been the former speaker, the leader of the '94 revolution, obviously is well known by the donor community and has a national presence. Through his 527 American Solutions, he's been raising a lot of money, but a lot of that's unrestricted corporate money. So turning that into, maxed out major donor contributions and bundling money is a different question. To be interesting, someone like Michelle Bachmann, who broke all records last year in her congressional race and raised $13 million for a House seat. I mean, that's an extraordinary amount of money, and if she could replicate that, she would be competitive on the money. But a lot of what she does in that regard is direct mail fundraising, and so, she might raise $13 million, but she might spend $10 million to do that. So at the end of the day, there's not a lot of money left for voter contact. But, for all of us that kind of watch how this thing plays out, seeing a $13 million number is pretty impressive, regardless of how much it costs to get it.
All right. Hey, Jason, thanks very much for joining us. Jason Rowe there, managing partner of Revolvis.